Hello everyone, welcome to the 10th episode of DraftKings, the only podcast that gives you all of the top level limited information you could ever need. I'm Shyler, and with me today, as always, is Tyler, and is it your second or third appearance? Fourth appearance.
I think this is the fourth episode. Or, no, fourth recording, third episode of DraftKings.
Yeah. Okay. Fourth appearance is Jeff Elverson.
How are you doing, everyone?
How are you guys?
Doing pretty great. Just another day with the 5 sons.
Alright, today we're going to be talking about something a little different. We're going to be talking about lore, and specifically the Planeswalker lore in the multiverse. And then we have a little surprise for the end of the podcast, so stay tuned for that. But first, we must open a pack and then see what we would pick out of the pack. So, today's pack is just going to be Oath of the Gatewatch. And let's get on with the pack, so the comments.
Okay, the first card is 1 red for an instant expedite. Target creature gains haste until the end of the turn, draw a card.
Yay, cantrip.
Yeah, it's
in
a
red.
cantrip. It's not really that great, but it's fine for activating like Surge and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's basically,
if you need an extra thing turn 1 or turn 2 or something like that.
It also can get something in really quickly if it doesn't have haste. If it's something big that is green or something,
most
you could
of the time when I've used this is just like on the end of their turn I need to draw an extra card.
Yeah.
And then my land untaps on my next turn.
You see, this wasn't as good as I thought it was at the beginning of the, like when we were seeing the spoilers and stuff. But
what do you think?
It's not a bad pick. It's not for a draft. I wouldn't be running it. Just it's nice for the Surge, but it's really like
filler card.
Yeah, it's more of like, oh cool, I've seen this card now 6 times. Okay, I'll just take it because I'm running a red deck and there's literally nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean, heck,
I'm on 21 cards and I need my 22nd.
Yeah.
Let's just start the game. I want to have some fun.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just get to it.
We got Undo War Cleric, 1 and a white for a 2/2 ally. With Cohort, you can tap it and tap an untapped ally you control to gain 2 life.
Pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, it's really solid in limited. Very good.
Because there's a lot of allies in this.
Yeah.
In this block, so.
Yeah,
because you drafted Oath with Battle.
I've been beat.
You had an option to get more.
I've been beat with Cohort before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This can gain you a lot of life.
The greatest card I've ever seen, the Ancient Crab.
Yeah, we've got 1 and 2 blue for a crab that's 1/5. The 1/5 crab.
Such a great blocker.
It blocks better than almost everything in the whole set. Well, it blocks almost anything.
There's not much besides the Eldrazi themselves that can get over this.
Except for evasion. Any kind of evasion just hops over it.
But like when you're going just solid contact, nothing fancy. It's a good solid wall. It benefits for blue permanents. It's a good play because you can have them out less than turn 3.
Yeah. Okay. I like the fact that on the art it has spikes on the shell, and it even has 1 power, so it pokes something if it gets too close.
Come at me, bro!
It literally
would.
Something.
Wait, it can counter flying. Look at the balloons. Try to fly over, pop. What will you do now, my friends?
Yeah, some flying, like Pegasus just comes over and pop.
Except I think it's underwater.
Is it underwater?
Image underwater? I think it is.
Yeah, it might be.
Are those birds or fish? Those might be birds.
If they're birds, it's flying.
Give it reach.
It's technically like a fantasy world, so you could have birds underwater.
Mm-hmm. It is
right?
possible.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy world.
You could have birds with gills.
Yeah.
Or who said oxygen was needed?
Okay, we got Corpse Churn. 1 and a black for an instant. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I think this is a dud.
Not for, like for a modern format for an EDH, gorgeous. For when you're running like a scab deck, beautiful. But
Even then, there are things that are a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
The only way you'd ever want to use this is if you have something you need something in the graveyard for.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you'd ever want to use this, because this is
And like a green-black deck, there's some like Reanimator in the green-black deck still in limited, because you have that green-black uncommon creature that brings something back also.
Yeah, you could also maybe even use this with the that green-black archetype in Battle for Zendikar. I think there was a green-black archetype. Was Catacomb Sifter in there, or was it?
They always try to. I'm trying to build in an archetype of every dual color combination into a draft format, right. They always try to build in all 10 so that you can support whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, it gets you something from the graveyard, so
yeah,
at least it does something other than mill.
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Okay, we've got Natural State. It's 1 green for an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment with converted mana cost 3 or less.
Great that it doesn't have too much of a downside, other than it has
conditional removal spell.
3 mana cost 3 or less. But I mean, a lot of the stuff you want to remove
is
3 or less.
Sideboard card.
Yeah.
It's very easily a sideboard card.
But
I would board it in against a lot of
it
things.
still blows up Umezawa's Jite.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
it doesn't blow up a top.
Yeah, because it'll just pop it
because
to the top.
Because top can just go right at the top. So
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. So
Corrosion Grip gets rid of pop of top because of what's the ability?
Split second.
Split second. Yeah, because they can't activate their ability and put it on top of the stack.
Yeah, they
right?
can't respond to it.
They have to wait until the spell's resolved, then they can put stuff on the stack. Okay, Zada's Commando, 1 in a red for a 2/1. First strike, ally. Cohort, you can tap it and tap an untapped ally you control, and Zada's Commando deals 1 damage to target opponent.
Another really good
creature,
it's good. Solid creature.
Especially if they don't have a way to regenerate the life, it's just going to sit back, and over time, even that one little damage says, nope, I won the game because you didn't take care of it.
It's worth first picking.
Yeah, there's
when that first strike doesn't do anything but give it more value.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good early play.
Very good.
It technically it keeps itself alive with it having first strike, because it can kill a lot of small things in the early game. So definitely.
Although the crab kills it.
That's true. That's definitely true. It hits the spikes and it dies.
It kills onto War Cleric and then dies to the crab.
The commando tries to shoot its little crossbow at the shell. It bounces off, and then the crab's like, "Let me show you power." And
I am the true leader of Zendikar. Bow before me.
Okay.
Because it makes sense. He's got a little crossbow. Just look at the art.
It's just, I've got you now. The crab walks up. That's cute.
It's like a turtle.
Okay.
I've watched your kind eat my kind. How does it feel, Mr. Goblin? I'm also an ally. You're not helping your case.
Alright. Crumbling Vestige. It's a land. Crumbling Vestige enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. It's actually a very good land.
Yeah.
I easily would pick that one first. That's a first pick for me.
Because even though it enters tapped, it still
gives you any color.
1 of any color, and then after that it produces colorless.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But oftentimes you lay a
land.
You
cast all your.
You want to cast something in the first place, so it gives you whatever color you need.
That right there still says a Raging Goblin turn 1, or that still says a Lantern Kami.
Yeah, you can still play your 1-drop turn 1 if you play that tapped.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one of the.
You can still play your Expedite and hopefully draw into another land.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that's not your only land.
Well, there's times when you mold a 4 and then you're stuck with 1 land.
Yeah, it's not. I guess
that's
not the
actually
worst
a
land
lucky. That's a lucky draw if you draw if you're stuck on 4 with one land.
Yeah.
To have an Expedite and that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You're like, okay. I'm saved.
Well, indeed.
Okay, Jawar Isle Avenger, 4 and a blue, for a 3/3 with flying, and it has a surge cost of 2 and a blue, and you may cast a spell for its surge cost if you or a teammate have cast another spell this turn.
I'd say only good
Most
with
of
casting.
most
you cast
most
a
of the
surge.
time, even if it's not a surge specific deck, this casts for 3.
Yeah.
Most,
Oftentimes you can make
most
anything
every time.
surge.
Most most every time that I've ever casted this, it's always been for 3.
Yeah.
Easily. Right. It's not even hard.
At its best, it's
Very-
a 3-drop
it's
3/3
good.
flyer. It's really good.
It's good. It's like
But a 5-drop 3/3 flyer, not in the cards.
So if you have the means for it, but it's like you were saying, if you can get it consistent with the surging, then it's beautiful. But
okay, we've
I
got
think
Hedron Crawler. 2 colorless for a 0/1 artifact creature. Taps to add 1 colorless to your mana pool.
Having the ability to tap for mana is the only
It's
thing
good.
that makes this anything considerable. Because if it was just a
wouldn't
0/1,
it wouldn't be printed if it hadn't had that ability. It was made for that.
it was kind of the same way Awakening Zone
Right.
was.
They needed they needed a little dude that would tap for colorless to put in the set, and
Yeah.
so they.
But the more
went with this.
I look at this set and the more I draft this set and everything, you really need your colorless mana if you're colorless stuff, because it is so hard. Like even in EDH sometimes, I have trouble with creating colorless mana because you can't just tap any color to make colorless anymore. It has to be specifically colorless.
So now we've got technically 7 forms of mana through the mana pool. You've got your red, blue, white, green, red, green, black, white, red, generic, and colorless. So it's
You have red twice.
Yeah.
there's
forgot
5.
blue.
There's 5.
Yeah, I know.
Red, green,
It's
white,
okay.
black, blue.
Yeah.
Red is deserving
Red,
of
green, white,
titles.
black,
Blue is obsolete.
Okay. Tranquil Expanse. We're under on. Oh, you better move it to the end.
Yeah, we're on our
Uncommon.
uncommons.
Tranquil Expanse. Enters the battlefield tapped. It's a land. It taps for a green or a white.
Selesnya. Just a standard Selesnya.
Good mana fixer. What
Yeah,
else can you say?
it was good they put
You know.
some uncommon
Yeah.
fixing in this because it didn't come around too much, but when you could make use of it.
Mhm. Okay. Allied reinforcements. 3 and a white for a sorcery. Put 2/2 white knight allied creature tokens onto the battlefield.
I like this card.
4 power, 4 toughness for 4 mana.
Yeah.
You-
And
you
also that
can't
they're
ask for any
allies as
better.
well.
Yeah. You can't ask for any better. Not to mention their allies.
Yeah.
Right. It's an aggressive card.
Yes. Definitely considerable in this pack.
Yeah.
I might even first
It's-
pick this so far.
It's still between like the Zada's Commando, the Onto War Cleric, and that though.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. Thought Harvester. 3 and a blue for a 2/4 with flying and devoid. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, target opponent exiles the top card of his or her library.
Good if you're in a
Feeds-
colorless deck. Not
Feeds
so good if you're
processors
not.
from battle.
Yeah.
And it's a 2/4 flyer for 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah, one of the only
Pretty
instances
good.
of ingest in this set.
Yeah.
Now that you mention
Well,
it.
it doesn't have ingest.
Well, it's not
ingest. You have to
ingest.
deal combat
Yeah.
damage to the player.
But I mean, as in exiling the top card, that's like the only instance, some of the only instances of that in this set.
Mm-hmm. All right, you ready to move on?
All right, let's
Okay.
go to our rare.
Bearer of Silence. 1 and a black for a Eldrazi for a 2/1 with flying, and it can't block. When you cast Bearer of Silence, you may pay 1 and a colorless. If you do, target opponent sacrifices a creature. It's really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
4 mana to
Removal,
give you a 2 and flying that sacks somebody. You
Yeah.
have to sack someone.
It's removal and a flying creature.
It's got removal and evasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything with removal and evasion.
This thing
is
would be
good.
insane if it could block.
Right.
It'd be really awesome. But unfortunately, they didn't want it to be
Okay.
that powerful. So,
Foil.
if you noticed, we had only 9 commons in our pack this time. That is because we have a foil, and our foil is...
a 4th uncommon.
Reflector Mage.
1 and a blue and a white for a 2/3. When Reflector Mage enters the battlefield, return target creature to an opponent controls to its owner's hand. That creature's owner can't cast spells with the same name as that creature until your next turn. So it's like it's like a better Man of War, but it kind of levels itself out because it's got white in it.
I cast this earlier against you,
Right.
Jeff.
Yeah, it's very good.
I cast it against Teysa, and then he couldn't cast Teysa again.
It's comparable to Man of War.
Yeah. But I love the fact that
Very
they
good.
can't cast the same thing
Great
until
tempo
your
for-
next turn, which is awesome.
Right? Yeah, it's good. I'm thinking about putting it in a room. Actually.
Yeah.
You know, it's all. You use the word awesome. It depends on who casts the Reflector Mage for how awesome it really is.
Against you, it's not so awesome. But if you're casting it, it feels good.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, this is definitely the first pick.
Yeah, definitely pick this. But if this were not in the pack, though, what would we pick? Probably
If this
the
were
rare.
not in the pack.
I still think
I
I
would have actually probably picked the rare.
would have gone Allied Reinforcements. I still think that's a really beautiful addition. They can make it like a creature,
Not
but
to
the fact
mention-
that you get two of them and how much they play.
Not to mention, if you're taking the rare, right, you're cutting black pretty hard because there's no other good black in the pack, right? So you're not passing any black signals.
So
then you can just
black,
continue.
Yeah.
You can continue to take the strong black signals, right, and cut everybody on your left out of black.
You do
Right,
make a
so
point,
you
so
can
you
be
don't
in
have
black.
to deal with the black,
Yeah.
even if
Signal-
you
And then
don't.
you'll get past the
Signal
black
hard,
in your
right?
second.
Like take that card and then signal as hard as you can that somebody's taking black, right?
Black is not open. Stay
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't actually factor that in. That's a
Yeah.
very good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay.
for our topic today, like I said, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Planeswalker lore. We're going to be doing a lot of the Planeswalkers. I don't want to say all of them because there are just so many Planeswalkers, but a lot of the key Planeswalkers, like, Jace, Chandra, Liliana, Nissa, Karn, things like that. And to start off, we want to just go 2 Planeswalkers at a time. So for this episode, we just want to go on Jace and Chandra. So with Jace, I'm just gonna summarize his biography. So he's a mental magic master. He's mastered the spells of illusion, deception, and mind reading. They allow him to manipulate enemy mages, and by countering their magic and using their spells against them. So that is what Jace is. How he started was he met his trainer, a Sphinx named Alhamrit. What's the recent?
Yeah.
The recent throwback to
Yeah, he
Alhamrit was his archive,
Well,
right?
he was printed,
Yes.
wasn't he?
Yes.
There was an Alhamrit.
Was there recently?
There was.
Oh yeah, I think there was.
He was printed as a card.
Yeah.
I'll find him.
So anyway, he finds this Sphinx named Alhamrit, and Alhamrit offers to train Jace to learn to control his abilities. So he's training and everything until Jace finds out that Alhamrit is using Jace to, manipulate the political side of things. So he kind of, confronts him and says, "Let's battle." So they have a huge fight, and
not a physical fight. Though,
not a
mental.
mental magic fight. So they're using their minds and their memories to try to battle and kill each other. It's such a big battle. They both end up super hurt.
I have Alhamrit, by the way.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Alhamrit, the High Arbiter. He's 5 and 2 blue for a flying 5/5. Those are already good stats. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose the name of a non-land card revealed this way. Your opponents can't cast spells with the chosen name.
Is that just as long as he exists, or is that for the
They
rest
can't
of the
cast spells with that name. Yeah, it doesn't say.
Okay, I just want to make sure it didn't say until end of turn.
Right, so pretty awesome card. Okay,
Yeah.
so where I was so they both got seriously hurt in their mental fight. Jace kind of like he was caused excruciating pain. He kind of lost some of his memories. They got jumbled, and he just got really, really messed up. And that pain and distress and everything was what ignited his spark. And from that, he basically kind of passed out, I guess you could say, in like a coma or something. And he awoke in Ravnica and formed an attachment romantically with a certain Liliana Vess. And that ended badly because he learned that she too was manipulating him in the same way and deceiving him. So Jace
She
having
would.
yes, that she would. So he's kind of feeling so bad. He just lost a huge war with his trainer, with his
Master and good pride, dear friend.
yeah,
Sounds
probably
Sounds
different.
like
Yes,
we're talking about Pokemon.
yeah, it does sound sort. But anyways,
It's about time.
so he lost.
Yeah, why isn't this a Pokemon podcast?
Gotta catch 'em all. Magic the Gathering.
Gotta catch them all,
hell,
DraftKings.
Delver just did get a third evolution.
We're turning into Pokemon.
Give him a Mega Stone. Okay, I'll be done.
Okay.
We gotta get back to Wizards. We gotta get back to the DraftKings, back to the Magic. Come
Yeah.
on.
Okay. So Jace is feeling all bad and everything. He's just lost everything. He's lost his love, his master. He's lost, he's really hurting with his mind, and he's lost some memories and everything. Led him to Zendikar and back to Ravnica again, where he solved the greatest puzzle yet, the Implicit Maze. And do you want to continue from here?
From a little bit about doing a little background reading, he essentially was able to convince. He traveled to Zendikar during the gate crash. He traveled to the Zendikar area and convinced a core family that was very angry with another to teach him some special magic and teach him how he can figure out what would lead him to figuring out the Dragon Maze. He didn't say the Dragon Maze to the core family on Zendikar. What he did was he essentially just asked them to teach him another way through peace, and he was able to manipulate their mind, and through what he found out from them was able to solve the Dragon Maze, and now leads Ravnica as the leader of Ravnica.
And also, the lore talks about that he defeated 2 Eldrazi Titans. We don't know which one of those are they.
I have no clue. I was unaware of those two, so I would not be able to say anything yet. But
It doesn't say, but I would assume, Olomog and Kozlek, maybe?
Yeah, I can see those two. Out of the others, there's no way he would be able to best Emrakul, I don't think.
Yeah.
So...
Emrakul's
Or
just
maybe
too strong.
if they just mentioned Titans, they may have been like the Ulamog's Crushers. They may have been just the Eldrazi underneath,
Underneath the...
just the other life forms rather than the actual major Titans. They were just the big giants. If you
Well,
will.
it says the 2 of the Eldrazi Titans, so...
So
it
yeah, that
could have been Olomog and Kozlek. Because it probably wasn't, like you said, Emrakul, so...
as of right now, that's what we're going. That's how it makes sense to us. That's what we go with.
Okay,
That
so
makes
that's
sense.
basically, for the most part, that's what the biography of Jace is. So we're gonna move on to Chandra now. Do you want to explain Chandra, or do you want me to?
I will. I'd love to give an introduction to the most
Okay.
beautiful woman ever. She's so hot. I'm sorry.
She's on fire.
Chandra, the wonderful pyromancer, one of the greatest, honestly, in my personal opinion, of the multiverse in general. She started off as a rebel. She was not very pleased with how people in her village were. They did not very much embrace her. She was a black sheep, so to speak. She followed her own independence. She was herself. She followed her mind. She followed whatever she wanted to do. She practiced pyromancy, which was not very... It was essentially the same as witches back in Salem. It was not at all accepted. And through that, the knights of It doesn't tell us what knights what they were from, so we don't know where they come from. But they began to do major attacks on the village, and including the own execution of Chandra Nalar. However, that didn't sit with her, and through her pyromancy and through her fear of almost dying, she was able to ignite.
She outraged. She panicked.
And through all of those high emotions, it ignited her spark, and she was transported to another plane, where she was welcomed by an order of monks that were able to help her embrace her gift and use her gift in a way that she could control.
Light
things on fire? Light everything on fire, not just some things.
Yes. Everything.
And from there, that's where we have the wonderful Pyromaster today. Still traveling around, doing what she wants.
Yeah.
Just
currently, she's making elementals.
And we...
currently, she's making elementals.
That's new.
Yeah,
she went from setting fires to making elementals.
But the elementals are on fire, so they're just on fire elementals.
Yeah, she just learned some, conjuration in addition to her...
How can I make this more on fire? This bridge is on fire. The next question I have for you, how can I make it more on fire?
How can I make it more fire? But that's not on fire enough.
So Tyler, Shiler, if you guys would like to add anything else, that's pretty much a good good place to just...
Yeah, I wanted to just talk about how good how Magic Origins really displayed how good the origin stories were, because the Flip Planeswalkers really explained how they got their spark, and how Chandra had even her parents in the set, so that explained that, and then Jace had Alhammarant in the same set, so that explained his backstory. So I loved how they included all of that into Magic Origins, and
which for the lore, Magic Origins has to be the greatest set that ever came out in the history of Magic, because it didn't just tell the story of a plane and different characters. It really said, look, we're not going heavy on, we're going heavy on specifics. Here's the planes, these are the worlds, you don't get to know much about it yet. This is what you need to know.
Yeah.
This is how we have the Planeswalkers we have today.
Yeah. Also, in Magic Origins, it was the first appearance of what I see as parents. Pia and Kieran Nalar was the only card that I've ever seen that has had a Planeswalker's parents on it, which is really awesome. I loved seeing that.
Because it gives it more of the real feel.
Cards that are family, right?
They
did a similar thing when they printed Johnny's brother in the Commander set.
The Johnny Vengeance?
Yeah, no, they printed his brother.
Wait,
I'm not a Johnny, but a Johnny's older brother.
Oh my god!
I forget his name, but he pumped your whole team when you paid the mana.
Like I was saying, just to wrap up, Magic Origins really did a really good job of explaining every Planeswalker's backstory. Just every single Planeswalker had at least some other card in this set that had something to do to tie with another, part of their backstory, which is awesome. And then the fact that the flip Planeswalkers it made so much sense, because they start out small, they're all little kids, and like Liliana, for instance, not that we're supposed to be on Liliana, but she was a healer before she was a necromancer, and the Planeswalker the Flip Planeswalker really does that. She transformed from a healer that gave you life and everything into the necromancer that discarded cards and made zombies and
there he is.
Everything like that. All right, guys. Now for the last part of the podcast, I want to announce a special contest for the packs that we have opened previously on the podcast. We have 12 of them, we have
about 12 packs.
If I'm not mistaken. But what you have to do is answer this question: what card is this? We give you the art. Now you have to figure out the rest. What is the card name? And
what's
the card name?
Just tell us the name.
But in order to enter, you have to tweet at us at #DraftKingsSLC, and then we will search that hashtag, and
the first person
with the right answer at the time of our recording
for free.
Gets 12 packs for free. the ones that we've opened, but still.
Yeah. They're open, but they're still all complete.
Yes. So, good luck to you all, and yeah.
For a pure Mirrodin.
Mm-hmm.
We will give you till next episode, so that's a week from now, till we choose the winner. So, that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you all for watching. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at ShyGuys768, and also on YouTube at ShyGuys768. And Jeff?
Jeff Ovison, Moran King. You can find us at the Moran Watchtower on Facebook. You can reach me. There's not much of a YouTube channel yet, but I'm getting things set up. But if you wanted to get in touch with us, you can get direct links to me on Facebook through Moran Watchtower.
The Edge 452 at YouTube.
Yeah. That's it for now. But until we meet again, may you all draw well, but most of all, have fun.
May the 5 sacred sons be with all of you.